Okay. Sorry, Millie. So find your way comfortably situated. You're welcome to be seated or lying down as we start our centering. The requests tonight were neck, shoulders, and core. We had medium to low energy when I surveyed the crowd. So we're all going to create a commitment, a soft commitment to yourself throughout your practice to do what your body wants you to do, right? To honor your limits, to be willing to see yourself for what it actually needs, right? That's how we're going to kind of set the tone for our class tonight. So get yourself comfortable and then give yourself permission for this moment to do absolutely nothing, to just pause. And rather than thinking or planning or remembering, let your mind notice. What is it like to be in your space? What is it like to be in your body? What does it feel like to breathe? What does it feel like to sit? What does it feel like to create this time and space to be good to yourself? And with those sentiments, with that energy, right, that you are here for yourself, start to notice your breathing. And think of this act as self-care and self-love, and start to slow down the breath. Start to deepen the breath. What if there was nothing to achieve, nothing to solve, nothing to fix? All that is required is to be here. And in a very loving way, invite yourself to enjoy breathing. To be grateful for breathing. To be curious about breathing. And go from there. Allowing this to be the seed of your practice, the beginning, the starting point, the enjoyment of breathing. Start to notice how your body receives breath, how it changes, how it stretches, how it moves. Start to notice the sound of your breath. As it creates a harmony with the sound of the space that you're in. The background rhythm section. And see if there's any more space for your mind to dive in just a little bit more. Can you allow breathing to become just a little bit more important in your mind at this moment, in your heart, in your body? And then very lovingly and gently allow your body to breathe itself. And then expand your curiosity to the body, to the breath, to the room, to this moment. And we'll add some movements in the head and neck and shoulders. So if you need to readjust your sitting position, you can do that. So take a breath in. And as you exhale, slowly move your chin towards your chest. Right? Let the breath be the metronome that determines how fast or slow you go. Inhale, roll your head over to one side. You're going to go with the pace of the breath. It's a very slow metronome. Exhale, chin to chest. So take your time, go to the other side. Inhale, other ear, other shoulder. I'm going very slow today. So if you find your pace needs to be faster, that's fine. Or slower, that's good. That's fine too. So you're just making a half circle from shoulder to shoulder. Inhale, head to one side. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear above shoulder. Maybe all your awareness is in the neck and shoulders. Can you move it around? Maybe to the jaw, to the eyes, to the scalp, wherever needs your attention, and just see, where does the movement land here? Is there tension? Can I let it go? Do I need it? Right? Notice shoulders and neck, but then every once in a while drift to the rest of the body as you just gently roll this movement side to side. And the next time your head is tipped one way, just pause there. If you haven't already paused and hung out in one spot, you can do that now. And take a few slow, deep breaths. Letting this detail, whatever you experience in this detail, in this moment, let your mind be totally curious about it. Right? This is self-care in this moment, paying attention to these muscles, to this breath. This is what self-care looks like. And then slowly bring the chin to the chest. And make your way over to the other side. And then we'll do the same thing. But this experience might be different. So be open to the possibility that this side could be different. And breathe, relax. Watch what happens. Watch what shifts, what changes. Offer acceptance to yourself wherever you can. And very gently and slowly, you can bring your chin back down to your chest. And pause here. Let your head hang heavy. Just notice. Nothing to force or push or fix or solve. Just allowing yourself to be here, to show up, to be curious. Good. And you can bring your head back up, eyes closed or open. That's up to you. Let's just kind of make it official that we're starting our moving practice, that we're shifting from the breath and the meditation into our moving practice, where it still might be pretty meditative, but you can bring your hands into prayer. And let's start our practice with an Om. You're welcome to join me or just listen. It's up to you. So we'll inhale all together. Om Shanti Shanti, peace. You can bow your head to your heart. Honor your good intentions of rolling out your yoga mat tonight. You can release your hands. You can blink your eyes open. Whenever you're ready, you can lift your gaze. And let's stretch the legs out. So whatever you're sitting on, disassemble, push it off to the side. Maybe it's just me that has 3 parts to my meditation stool. It's very elaborate. So once the legs are extended, just start to circle your feet. We're going to do a little more feet and legs in a moment, but I just wanted to get the legs a little uncranky. Good. So whatever they need, bouncing windshield wiper feet, bouncing the knees, whatever they need. All right. Let's do something radical. Let's come up to standing. This way, we get all the standing stuff out of the way. Not that it's a necessary component, but we do it now. We'll get to the ground all that much faster, right? So come to standing, and we'll go through the movements of the joints from standing. So we'll start with the feet. So you can shift your weight over to your left foot. Lift your right heel. The ball of the foot can stay on the ground, and you just circle it around. Now, this is the way I learned how to do it in the Qigong class that I've been taking. But in the yoga classes I've taken in the past, sometimes we turn the toes over, and you can go the other way. So let's do it this way with the ball of the foot on the ground, like each direction. And then if you want, you can decide to keep changing directions, or maybe you roll over the toes, if that makes sense. And for me, that's a little more intense, so I only do a few in one direction, a few in the other direction. Good. And then come back to standing and just walk in place a little bit, kind of shaking off the standing leg, moving around the new one. Good. And then we'll switch sides and do the same thing. So ball of the foot stays on the ground, and you just circle your heel. Just make sure your standing leg is not hyperextended or locked. You can go the other way. Keep breathing. Good. And then if you'd like to, you can get the toes involved, the tops of the toes. So rolling over the feet. This is where if we were all in person, we would hear knuckles cracking all over the room accidentally, right? Oh, I just did one. My toes responded to that comment. Good. Go the other way if you haven't already. I might have said it, I might not. Good. And then when you release, just walk in place a little bit. All right. So it's a cold, windy day. So let's break up. I feel like sometimes that makes me feel a little more stagnant, and yesterday was rainy. So let's break up a little bit of that. So we'll do my friend used to call it the sacred shake. So basically you just bounce down. I like to let the hands go. And you just bounce. Right? The head is relaxed. The Qigong teacher I used to go to, she would call it like the wild horse. We call it like the wild horse. Like think of a horse running without a bridle, right? Like you're running free. So just shake. Don't worry, no one can see you. Keep breathing. Let the hands shake. Arms can get involved. It's really up to you. You might even let your feet go airbound if you want. If you really want to jump up and down, that's up to you. Good. And then eventually find your way into stillness. Just take a moment, palms forward, eyes open. Notice. Good. And you can step your feet slightly wider, and if they're close together, and we'll do go right into standing swinging twist. So lift the heel that you face away from. Let your head follow with the rotation of the shoulders, and breathe. Good. And start to slow it down. So gradually slowing it down and letting yourself come back to stillness. You can bring your feet a little closer together. Good. And just take a moment. Notice how you feel. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy, keep your eyes open. You can stamp your feet if you need to. Good. And let's do a little sun breath, and we'll add some variations in there as well. So feet hip distance and parallel, kind of starting off that mountain base, right? Noticing the feet. Balance through the legs and pelvis. Crown of the head lifts up towards the sky. Your palms can face forward. And as you inhale, float your arms out and up. Let's keep it simple for now. Exhale, the arms come back down. So see if you can do this and still keep the whole body in mind. The balance through your feet, your pelvis, your spine, the ease through your arms and breathing. Good. Next time the arms come down, you can just leave them there. And we're going to do this in a really gentle way. So you're going to bend your knees and take a step back. It doesn't have to be a big one, into a lunge. So the easier lunges are when the feet are closer. So if you need it to be really easy, just keep the feet close. We don't need our main version of warrior one yet. But take your arms and you can start to reach them up. So inhale and you're going to arch the back just a little bit. And as you exhale, bring the arms forward, start to tuck your chin and round your back. So it's going to take a little bit of balance. So inhale, you can sweep your arms straight forward and up. We extend the arms. And exhale, I'm sorry, that's flex the arms. Exhale, bring the arms back down, around the back. So a little bit of cat and cow. Inhale, arms up, arch the back just a touch. Exhale, arms down, look towards your belly button, round your spine. Good. Let's bring the arms back up. Pause for a moment, neutral spine this time. And you can hinge forward, step forward, let your hands release, and just pause. Right? You're like a shaken paperweight. You want everything to settle again. Good. And we'll do the other side. So bend your knees, just real gentle. Right foot goes back, doesn't have to go very far. You decide what the heel does. The arms can be at your sides. And as you inhale, just reach them forward and up towards the sky. Arch the back a little. Exhale, arms come down. Round your spine, look towards your belly button. Inhale, reach up. So take your time. I'm not saying the cues to create a pace for you. It's really just so we all know what we're doing. That's all. So you notice, are your legs a good position? Is your foot comfortable? Do you need to kind of bend and straighten the leg because your muscles are fatiguing? So just find out what you need. Good. And the next time the arms come up, find a neutral spine instead of an arched one. Really gentle, as gentle as you can do your warrior one. You can step forward and bring the arms down. Good. And just notice where you're at. So let's do a little half sun salutations. If you want to use blocks, you can. I like to use blocks. But when you're ready, find your mountain. Palms face forward. Tailbone presses down as the crown of the head reaches up. As you inhale, float your arms out and up. Get nice and tall. Reach up. Exhale, hinge at your hips. A swan dive. So belly pulls into the spine. Inhale to a flat back. Use blocks or slide your hands to your shins. Shoulders pressed gently away from ears. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees so that it stretches the back more than the legs. Inhale, lengthen arms, legs, spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, elongate arms, legs, spine. Exhale, fold. And usually we just do two, and I have to be honest, I wasn't keeping track. So let's do one more. So lift and lengthen, and then you can fold. And instead of coming up reverse swan dive, let's roll up. So bend your knees, shift your weight into your heels, keep your chin tucked, and inhale, roll your way up as if you could stack one bone on top of the next until you slowly come all the way up to standing and just pause. Just notice. All right. So we're keeping it gentle. We're still going to keep it gentle. Let's add a little bit of strength to our gentle, right? So I use a block for this. We'll come in and out of chair, and we'll do a little half moon or crescent moon shape. So if you want to use a block, you can. You don't need to. But I like to put it between the thighs. So find a pressure that feels like it's just enough, right? Just a little bit of pressure that is going to engage the leg muscles and help you strengthen. You don't want to overdo it. So stand up nice and tall. Or I'm going to speak for myself. I don't want to overdo today. So I'm going to keep it real gentle. But if you need more, you can add more. So turn your palms to face forward. Press up to the top of your head as you inhale. Reach your arms out and up. As you exhale, bend your knees. Reach your sitting bones back and down as you float your arms back down. So we'll keep the arms like sun breath. Inhale, lengthen, arms lift up. Exhale, sit in your imaginary chair. So go really slow if you can. Keep shifting your weight back a little bit so the knees are more comfortable. Move slow so that you're using your muscles, right? We strengthen more when we go slow. And you can even then ask certain muscles to fire more than others. Like, can you pull the belly into the spine and sort of intentionally engage the belly? Go slow and really think about the muscles in the legs, how they feel, which ones are really working. Are you balanced on both feet? I just found one of my legs firing a little more strongly than the other. So, that's just something to notice and to see, like, am I doing that on purpose, or is there anything, is that okay? Is that just, you just kind of check in. And start to make peace with this, right? So now that we've done several, the legs might be talking to you a little, right? The shoulders might be talking to you. So how can you make peace with this? Is it to stop? Is it to keep doing it, but to do it more gently? Or maybe it's to change the pattern, right? I'm going to start bringing my arms out to the sides as I inhale and my arms straight down in front of me as I exhale. It's just kind of what my body wanted to switch the pattern of. So find out what feels good to you. Maybe you slow down even more. Make sure the neck is comfortable. Are you going as slowly on the lift as you are on the lower? And the next time you're in your chair, if you have it in you, you can pause and breathe. Use more belly than back, more arms than shoulders. You can start to float your arms down and slowly lift yourself back up, lengthening the legs. You can remove your block and just fold. Let your body fold over the legs. You can bend your knees as deeply as you need to. Allow this to be pleasant, right? I think you came here for you. And so make sure this feels good, right? Find your way in so it feels good. Good. And then bend your knees, keep your chin tucked, and start to roll your way up, one bone at a time. Good. And we'll do half moon or crescent moon. So I like to use the block again, but you don't have to, it's up to you. So find your mountain, block or no block, that's up to you. Palms face forward. Crown of the head lifts up, feet press down. And as you inhale, reach your arms up. Get nice and tall. You can interlace the hands overhead if that feels comfortable. Alternatively, you can use a block or a strap rather. Inhale, lengthen. Use your belly. And in a really small, slow way, arc over to your right and pause. Inhale, lengthen this whole shape of you, right? This whole yoga form that you're in. And exhale, soften shoulders, face, jaw. And find out, is this the shape I want to be in, or does my right hand want to come to the hip, Would that be easier? Would that be more comfortable? It's not about easy. It's really just about finding what works for you today, right? Meeting yourself where you're at. And if your back is tired, well, that's okay, isn't it? So keep breathing. And slowly, with strength, come back up. Ooh, release your arm. And before we switch sides, let's fold forward again. So remove your block if you'd like. Let your knees bend. Let your body drape over the legs. Bend your knees. Keep your chin tucked. Start to roll your way back up. Just pause for a moment. And then set yourself up for the other side should you need a prop. So finding your mountain. Inhale, you can reach your arms up. Get nice and tall. Exhale, just soften your shoulders. Yeah, so inhale, lengthen. Exhale, arc over to your left just a little bit. Then pause, lengthen from here. And then just start to incrementally find out, am I in the position I want to be in? Do I need to go further? Does my body want me to come out a little? Should I have my left hand on my hip? Right? They're all just questions, and the answers are all valid. The answers that you find are the answers. It's fine. So keep breathing, relax your shoulders. We want to eliminate all moments for judgment and, shoulds at our bodies. We want to just be loving and nurturing and accepting. All right. So as you feel ready, you can come on up, release your arms, start to fold forward, remove your block, and hang heavy once again. Bend the knees, let your head hang, let your shoulders relax. All right, and you can choose to use a block or the side of a couch or chair, or some people, you could just bend your knees and touch the ground, but let your fingers touch something. Block, floor, chair, couch, right? Got lots of choices. And from here, I like to come up a little bit. I don't like to be totally folded when I do this. So I like to come up a little, but you can also see what works for you. But basically, you're gonna bend one knee and lengthen the opposite leg, and then bend the opposite knee and lengthen the opposite leg. So I call it hip hop because one hip hops up, the other one sinks down, right? And then you decide, do I want to be more folded or is this fine? So kind of feel the hips shifting side to side. Good. And the next time the right leg is more straight and your left knee is bent, pause there. You can place your hand on the floor and a fist on a block. And you take your right arm and you're going to twist. So you're going to bring the arm up towards the sky or maybe the hand on your hip, lengthen your spine and twist. Right? And breathe here. Just make sure the right knee isn't locked. My knee likes to do that, so I'm going to ask it not to. And keep breathing. Good. And then slowly roll your way out. And we can switch sides. So right hand comes down, right knee bends, left leg lengthens, and we twist. So the left arm comes up or hand to your hip as you twist and breathe. Lengthen your spine. Make sure the left knee isn't locked. When you're ready, gently unwind, fold over the legs. You can bend your knees, keep your chin tucked, and start to roll your way back up. All right. So we don't need the blocks, and we can actually get them out of the way if you have them in front of you. And let's just be nice to the shoulders. We'll just pay attention to the shoulders. So find yourself comfortably standing, mountain, and just start little circles up, back, and down with the shoulders. And then start to notice, what if it wasn't just the shoulders? What if the arms were a little bit involved, right? So they kind of like you were ever so slightly pantomiming a rowboat, a row, right? And then maybe the knees are involved. I like to kind of bend and straighten. And this isn't a dance class, so what that means is it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't have to be graceful, it doesn't have to be pretty. You make it whatever would feel good. So we just want to get into the joints, and we want to kind of find out, how are you doing, shoulders? Maybe this gets a lot bigger. Maybe it's like a really big, you got really big oars on your rowboat and the arms have to come all the way up and all the way back. For some reason, it's extremely circular. If you've ever rowed a boat, you know that it doesn't really work like that, but that's okay. We're just going to go with it. Good. And then when you release, just notice how your shoulders feel. And standing tall and comfortable through your legs and body, just let your right ear drift towards your right shoulder. Relax your jaw and breathe. You can take your left hand and turn the palm open as comfortably far to the left as it wants to go. And breathe. Just keep that slow, deep breath. Find out what happens. No answers are wrong, right? Even if it hurts, it's an answer that's saying, hey, could you come out of this a little? Good. And then gently release your arm first. And then bring your chin to your chest. We'll pause here for a moment. And however you need to get there, you can let your head drift over to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder. Pause here, even out the shoulders and breathe. You can turn your right palm forward and then kind of back as far as it wants to go to the right. And breathe. You can also play with how far the arm comes from your side. That might change things too. I think I did it on the other side and forgot to articulate that. Good. And then gently release. You can roll your head back through center. Beautiful. Let's do one more standing thing, because I don't know about you, but I would like to get back to the ground sooner than later. So let's do archer, my favorite. All right. So it's helpful to be in the middle of your yoga mat, or, just not right at the top. So you can take a step forward and your foot won't be cold on the floor. If you're on a cold floor like me. All right. So stand up nice and tall, feet hip distance, right? Our mountain pose. Step your right foot a few inches in front of where it was. And just check in. Am I balanced here? Are my feet, a good distance apart? Are they still hip distance? And bring your hands to prayer, and we'll lengthen the torso first and the arms. So inhale, reach the arms up, just get nice and tall. And I didn't cue it beforehand, but you guys have all done this even before. And then exhale, left hand behind the head, right arm out in front of you with a hitchhiker's thumb. And then look at your thumb. Can you soften your shoulders first though? Yeah, take a breath in. And as you exhale, keeping the hips right where they are, just twist to your right. From the belly button up, everything twists to the right. If you let the hip go with the shoulder, you'll go further, but that's not the goal. The goal is to keep the hips where they are. You're just twisting, lengthening, breathing. And let's pantomime an archer, because that usually helps the shoulder, because my elbow is coming forward. So take your imaginary arrow out of your quiver, put it on your bow. Imagine the tension there and draw your left arm past the ear, past the shoulder. Can you open the heart? Draw the elbow back. You might feel the shoulder blades gently drawing towards each other. Yeah, keep breathing. So it's a lengthening, a softening, a breathing. There's even a little balance happening. Eyes on the thumb. And when you're ready, slowly unwind. Oh, release your arrow first. Sorry, I forgot. Left hand to your shoulder, and then we'll gently unwind. You guys probably have heard me say that enough times. You probably did it even before I had to say anything. And release your arms. Step your feet together. Just pause. Notice. Great. And we'll do the other side. So find mountain first. Left foot steps in front of where it was. Hands in prayer. So find your balance. Just check in. And then inhale, reach the arms up, get nice and tall. Exhale, right hand behind your head, left arm in front of you, hitchhiker's thumb. Shoulders soft. Keep lengthening, keep the hips where they are, twist to your left. And breathe. And just notice there might be something that's kind of blocking you. Your mind might go, hey, I went further on the first side. So it's really just we want to try to get the first side out of our minds and just really focus on this side. What's happening? Take your imaginary arrow out of your quiver, put it on your bow. Keep looking at your thumb and gently pull that bow back. The arrow back rather on the bow. Opening the shoulders, opening the heart. Shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade squeezes towards the left one. Good. Breathe. Lovingly release your arrow. Right hand comes to the shoulder, just so it has a place to go as we unwind. Release your arms. And we'll do a little forward fold before we come to the ground. So you decide feet wide apart or feet close together. Maybe you do similar to what we've been doing the whole time, or maybe yoga mudra would feel good, right? We have a few shoulder moves up our sleeves today already. So if you need another shoulder release, you can interlace your hands behind your back or grab a yoga tie. Hinge at your hips. And then it's yogi's choice, whether the knees are bent or straight. But let your head dangle. Your head can relax, your shoulders. If you're in yoga mudra, they pull together. If they're not, just dangle your shoulders down, dangle your arms. Yeah, it looks like we're all doing yoga mudra, but whichever one works for you. And then at some point, if you want to just let your arms release, you can. But let's enjoy upside down for a little bit, for a few breaths. Right? So if the arms land, if they don't, it's all good, but we're just going to kind of enjoy upside down. And that might mean shifting, moving. That might mean stillness and breath, which, as we know, isn't exactly quite stillness, right? We're always moving. Just notice, right? Let your body guide you. If there's a stretch, if there's a motion, if there's a twist, anything that you need, now would be a great time, right? Because we're going to make our way to the ground soon. So if there's something in this shape that would feel good, do that. My favorite yoga prop these days is my couch, right? So you might find an unexpected yoga prop. Good. Whenever you're ready, you can start to make your way down to the yoga mat. That might mean child's pose. That might mean upright child's pose. That might mean just lying down for a moment. We're going to do a few things seated before we make our way to the ground, but just get yourself in a resting pose, resting position. Just for now. Good. And when you're ready, you can find your way to seated. And let your legs come out in front. And from here, let's do this. We didn't actually do hips at all, really. So you can lean back, hands or forearms, feet wide apart. We usually start this way, but that's right. We'll kind of do the end of our practice. So knees side to side. Just checking in on the hips, on the low back. Good. And then let your knees go to the right. And actually, the right knee can stay where it is, but the left leg will actually lengthen. So let your left leg be straight. It doesn't have to be really far out. Just find a good place, kind of out to the left, that it feels comfortable. And we're just going to play with it here. So you can bend your knee if you need to. You want to get your torso comfortably tall. So that might mean you have to bend the knee, and that's okay. And just take your hands, take your torso, and start to twist to the right. Lengthen your spine, so press your tailbone down, rotating through the shoulders and through the head as comfortably far as you can go. That doesn't mean we're pushing or forcing. It just means you might not go far at all, and that's fine. And then keep your right hand where it is. It's probably off to your side a little bit. Mine's like right behind me, kind of, sort of. And then bring the left hand on the inside of the left leg. Right, so can you kind of open the heart a little more? Shoulder blades draw towards each other and down. And just make peace with this, kind of this openness, this little bit of a twist, stretch through the leg. And maybe this is all, maybe this feels great. Or maybe you go a little further. Maybe you bring the left hand towards the left foot and the shoulders lean. Maybe you keep your right hand on your hip, shoulder open, or you can arc the arm. I always call it like a rainbow towards the toes. And breathe. Maybe the arm moves around a bit. You come back to that notion that we started with, that this practice was intended to be self-care, to be nourishing, to be comfortable, to be yours. So as you experience this stretch, how can you make it yours? It's not about individuality for other people's sake. It's 100% for your sake. Meeting yourself where you're at, letting go of preconceived notions, letting go of shoulds. And then when you're ready, you can gently release. Good. And you can keep your hands for now around the right knee, and we'll do almost pigeon, right? So you can swing your left leg back a little bit. I'm going to start with it bent on me and then twist a little bit here. The other option is, I'm going to knock my blocks over here. The other option is kind of straightening the leg back behind you, curling the toes under, lifting the heel. So it's kind of like you were in pigeon. You could also uncurl the toes. I like the toes curled under. And find what works. A little almost pigeon. You can certainly stay lifted. You can also lay or lower down. And breathe. Right? If your hips are up to it, you can do full pigeon. I feel like I haven't warmed up enough through the hips to do it for personally for my body, but you might be different. And when you feel ready to emerge from pigeon or almost pigeon, you can come out, hands behind you. You might want to sway the knees side to side a few times before you switch sides. But when you're ready, you can switch sides, knees to the left. So I'm laughing because I remembered I was going to come to the yoga mat and do core. That was my next on my list. And somehow I got into this very stretchy thing. So sorry, Janet. So I think we have time for core. So you can extend your right leg when you're ready. I don't know if I had that in a full sentence, but whatever we did on the first side, let's do it on the second side now. Sorry, my brain isn't firing on all its cylinders today. So let's start here. So you want to get yourself upright and tall. If that feels impossible, if that feels ever so slightly torturous, you can bend your knee or bring the leg a little more forward. Let's see. So let's twist. So you're going to lengthen your spine and walk your hands to the left. This isn't going to be a huge, deep twist. Just find out what happens. Go ahead and take your right hand and bring it on the inside of the right leg. And maybe this is plenty, just staying open. I always think of this version of it being kind of airy, right? Because usually when we make the rainbow, it's like it feels tight to me, right? It's like it's a shape and we're in it. But this way it feels kind of open and airy to me. So, find your version of it. Are you feeling open and airy today, or do you need a little bit more, order? You need to be hemmed in a little by your yoga practice. All right, or maybe your left arm does the rainbow. Don't mind me, my delirium is setting in. So keep breathing and relax. This side could be different from the first side. It might be very, very similar. There might be movement the whole time. There might be stillness. There might be, a little bit of both. Can you let this be sort of organically and naturally exactly what you need it to be? Not your mind, not your ego, but your body. Good. When you're ready, you can start to slowly release from this. We'll do either almost pigeon or close to pigeon. Right? So kind of swing your leg back a little bit. I always start with the knee bent just to kind of find out how my hip feels, how my body feels about this. And I twist a little bit to the left. And this might be plenty. I find this version doesn't put too much stress on the knees. You can also send your knee further back or straighten your leg back behind you. And I know like you might be off your yoga mat. I've got two, so I'm kind of perfect. But if you need to rearrange, you can. That's the beauty of not being 5 inches between our yoga mats in a crowded studio. Take up all the space you want. You can have 5 yoga mats if you want. All right, so find your version, whatever you need. Maybe you're lifted. My back is really enjoying being lowered in this shape tonight. And breathe. Allowing the body to soften, continuing to collect your mind back to the body every time it strays. When you feel ready, you can start to lift up. Shift your weight to your left hip so you can bend your right knee so they're kind of where we started. Hands behind you and let the knees go left and right. All right. So I think there's a reason that I did all that instead of the core thing I was going to do, because I was going to do plank. And you know what? That feels exhausting to me. So let's do let's do a little bit of core from lying down. So find your way onto your back. We're going to skip the belly down today. Or I'm going to skip it. Let me do it if you need it. But find your way onto your back. When you get there, we're going to forget that I said the word core at all. We'll get there, but for right now, just forget all about it. You can bring your knees in, hands to the knees, or wrap your arms around and gently rock side to side. So very slowly rolling over the muscles in the back. You can always rearrange the position of the legs to see if you're sort of adequately rolling over the muscles that need a little extra attention. Good. And then you can come to stillness. Let your right knee come in towards the chest. Oh, actually, before we do that, you can keep your knees in, hold on to your knees for a second, and you're just going to flatten your back. So when we put the feet down, often the back goes a little more arched, right? So there's like right now, I could technically slide my hand between my low back and my yoga mat. If my sweatshirt wasn't so bulky, I could do that. So we want to sort of solve that. So we want to pull the belly into the spine and kind of flatten the back out on the mat, right? So you can pull your knees in if they aren't already. Keep the belly hugging into the spine. You can bring your hands around the right knee or shin and extend your left leg and just exhale. Take a breath in, then exhale. Take a breath in and switch legs and slowly float the right leg parallel to the ground. So inhale, you switch. Exhale, you slowly lower the leg. I'm going to language that a little differently this time. So the way it was taught to me was you kind of shoot the bent leg that's bent now, you shoot it up into the air, you bring the other leg in, and then slowly lower that straight leg. Good. And then we'll do the other side. So bring the straight leg in and shoot the other leg straight up to the sky and slowly lower it down. So keep hugging the belly into the spine. There's another way to do this. For right now, my back likes it this way. You could also use your belly strength to lift your head and your heart and do it in like a sustained crunch. But I'm going to do it with my head and shoulders on the ground. You do however you want to do. I just haven't done a lot of strengthening lately. And I know for my body, I need to start small and I need to start slow. Good. And whenever you feel like you've had enough, let your feet find the floor. Release the tension in the belly. Let your knees bend. Your feet can be as wide as your hips are wide. As wide as the yoga mat is wide. And let your knees go side to side. Good. And then come back to center and stillness. Bring your feet a little closer together, arms along the sides of your body. Palms face down. You can scoot your shoulder blades underneath or tuck them underneath. You can slide your hands underneath the small of the back or tuck the sidelines of your arms under the sidelines of your torso. And that same thing, you're going to hug the belly into the spine. You can bring your knees up. So you could either let your heels kind of be relaxed towards your rear end or make the legs at 90-degree angles. That's going to be a little more challenging, so you choose. So do that and then come back to that notion of hugging the belly into the spine and just breathe. And if your back is bugging you today or you haven't worked on your core in a while, like this might be plenty. You could also do, these are called toe dips. So take one leg, keep it at a 90-degree angle like it was fixed, and slowly lower the leg until the toes touch the yoga mat. Very slow, very lightly, and then slowly bring them back up. Sometimes I do this, it's like, is somebody taking the floor and moving it further away from my foot? You know, like, they're like, where's the floor? So slowly lowering. So we're strengthening the legs as we do this, strengthening the glutes a little. We're also strengthening the core as you kind of keep hugging the belly into the spine. But, you know, all those muscles work in tandem, so it's a good one. As you do this, can you relax the shoulders? I just caught my shoulders really tensing up. Are you breathing relaxed and deep? There's so much that we can learn when we really slow down and just let the mind notice all the little details, right? The moments when the back takes over, I just noticed my back taking over. So let the belly do the work. And if it does become like it's just your back doing the work, it means you're tired and it means you need a break. So whenever that happens, whenever you need a break, I found my break moment. You can release. And when you do release, just hug your knees into the chest. Just give yourself a big hug. So that'll help round the spine because that'll do, or the lumbar rather, that'll do like the opposite of what we're doing before. We're trying to prevent. And maybe you rock side to side, or maybe there's something else that would feel good. Good. And from here, when you're ready, let's do the supine twist and then we'll get into relaxation. So you can bring your feet to the floor, knees bent, arms out wide. If you need any props, you can grab them. I always use a blanket between my knees, sometimes a block. So just scoot your hips a little right of center. Excuse me. Draw your knees in and over to the left as your head looks right. And breathe. So slow down and deepen the breath. Relax the body. Let your mind notice all the details of this twist. I know I teach this form every time we're together, just about. But can you let your mind recognize what it is today, what it is now? As if this was the first time you've ever done a supine twist. Wouldn't that be nice? And see what happens, right? Maybe your mind can go, oh man, this feels good, right? Like really imagine if this was the first time you've ever done it. Like you just got to unwrap a present. That's how I feel about it. That's how much I love this yoga form. That's probably why we do it every week. So can you let joy come into your practice? Can you let pleasure come into your practice? It's very easy to take our practice a little too seriously. Good. And when you're ready, just slide your feet back to the center of your mat. Lift your knees and square your hips and just give your back a moment to rest. Then scoot your hips a little left of center. Knees come in and over to the right. And you can turn your head to the left. Get yourself comfortable. Take a few breaths. Make any little adjustments you need to. And just settle into this shape. And I know it might be hard because we already asked yourself this question already, but this side is different. Maybe you could find out what it would be like if this was your first time doing a supine twist, a lying down twist. Notice all the details on this side. letting the mind to continue to circulate through all the details of how this feels. Gently, softly, breathing slow and deep. Whenever you feel ready, you can start to gently unwind. Square your hips, let your back just rest. And from here, the practice is yours. So whatever you need to get yourself ready for relaxation or to finish your practice. Millie needs my practice to end with her in mind. So, if there's any dogs that need petting or cats that need petting, now's a good time to do it. As you transition, I usually have to hide my hands once I'm in meditation mode, so Millie doesn't think they're available for petting her. All right, so take a moment or two, get yourself set up, do what you got to do. I will meet you back in a bit to guide our relaxation. All right, so when you start to get yourself ready for relaxation, just make sure that you are warm enough, make sure that you are comfortable enough. And when you do get there, start to take a few slow, deep breaths. Start to slow down your breath once again. Because this breathing thing is not a fly-by-night operation. Right? It's a lifelong thing. And we want that slow, deep breathing to become a little more second nature, a little more habitual, right? And just to know that it's the tool we have to calm, to relax, to find ease. So, slow down the breath. Let your mind start to settle into the body. The body is usually a little easier, has an easier time at that. So let the body settle and let your mind settle right into the body. And let your mind gently scan the body, kind of finding out how it feels. Just like earlier, I asked you to, notice all the details of the breath, right? Now let your mind notice all the details of the body as it rests, as it softens. And as you finish up your body scan, or as you do your body scan, notice in particular the places in your body that feel good. Like for right now, can you seek out the places that feel good? We're pretty good at finding the opposite, right? So just, yeah, focus on what feels good. And soften into those good spaces, right? Let those be the ones that guide you into your softening, into your relaxation. Yeah, and then just practice the art of letting go. All right, so you can start to deepen your breath. If you feel ready to return, you can start to move fingers and toes. You could stretch or yawn. In other words, let your movements gradually increase and get bigger. And as you feel ready, you can come back up to seated. Back up to your starting point, right? So take your time to get there. And when you do get there, just notice how you feel. Can you remind yourself of how you felt at the beginning of your yoga practice? And notice how it has left you feeling. And you can bring your hands into prayer if that's comfortable. Whew. Sorry, I was petting Millie and now there's dog fur floating everywhere. And out of sort of respect and honor and love for this practice that has been passed on for so many years, we'll join our voices in a grateful sound of Om. So you can join me or not. So inhaling all together. Om Shanti Shanti, peace. May you know peace in your heart, peace in your mind, and peace in your body. And may you share that peace with everyone you meet. You can bow your head to your heart, honor the divine light that resides within you. Jai Bhagwan. Namaste.
Thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome. Let me stop the recording. Bye, recording people.